Good morning. How are y'all doing today? Pleasure to be here. What I want to talk to you about today is self-awakening, self-awareness, and self-discipline. And it all goes back to what we call the mysteries of life. Who am I? What am I? Where have I been? Where am I going? So when we spiritual awaken, we always ask ourselves these questions. And if you've studied the Egyptian mystery schools, then they ask these questions for entrance into the schools. The mystery schools had 12 years of initiation going through each of the temples on the Nile River from ancient Egypt. And each one of these temples represented your chakras. And then the 13th year you would receive that initiation. Some of the teachings there was that you had to prove reincarnation, which in spiritualism, depending on the church, is you believe in it or you don't believe in it, and Cassadaga happens to be non-committal. So when we look at that, you have to answer these questions. Jesus, in his years between 12 and 30, attended these schools. Plato, the Greek philosopher, attended the mystery schools. But the first time that he applied, he got the questions wrong. Who am I? Well, I'm a Greek philosopher. What am I? Or who am I? I'm a man. What am I? A Greek philosopher. Where have I been? Where am I going? Well, I have been learning. Now I want to teach. So he got those all wrong. And what happens with that is you have to reapply 20 years later. So, and he got it right the second time. So the answers to these questions are, who am I? I am nobody because I am everybody. What am I? I am nothing because I am everything. And where have I been and where am I going? Well, I don't know where I've been. I don't know where I'm going because I'm everywhere. So we have to look at self-awareness, the self-awakening, and the self-discipline as part of the oneness. The oneness that we all are. And I want to go to a song done by the Beatles. It was written by George Harrison called Within You, Without You, which happens to be on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. Side B, song 1, in case you've been listening to these things. So, and when we look at the verses on that, the first verse is about self-awakening. And the verse states, we were talking about the space between us all, and the people who hide themselves between a wall of illusion. Never glimpse the truth, then it's far too late when they pass away. And what this is talking about as far as the awakening is, what is the illusion that we are following? The American dream? Do I need a mortgage, 2 cars, a home, children? All right, but what is that glimpse of the illusion, or that glimpse of the truth? What is that truth? everybody self-awakens in spirituality. Some are led to spiritualism. Some are led to gurus and other teachings. But when we look at spiritualism, it's our spirit is in eternal. And that's the awakening. And we find out what is out there that I'm missing. And then we go to the self-awareness again, which is the second verse. We were talking about the love we could all share. When we find it, to try our best to hold it there with our love. With our love, we could save the world if they only knew. So it is the awareness that the whole universe is the vibration of love. Love our fellow human being. And that is the awareness, because we are all one, that we need to project to each other. Now the refrain of this song is about our soul path. And it states, try to realize it's all within you. No one else can make you change. And to see you're really only very small, and life flows on within you and without you. So when we look at that, this is part of everybody's self-realization on your soul path, is that the only one who can change yourself is yourself. Or another way to put it, because God lives within you and without you, the only one who can save yourself is yourself. All right? So we have that world of illusion where people are trying to change us, telling us what to do when we awaken. When you really get the awareness of, I'm the only one who can do it. Now, myself, I've had lots of trials and tribulations grasping this reasoning. And we all do that. It's first the awakening, then the awareness. Another verse that goes with awakening is, we were talking about the love that's gone so cold, and the people who gain the world and lose their soul. They don't know, they can't see. Are you one of them? All right, so when we look at this verse, George Harrison is asking us, are you here for material wealth, or are you here for spiritual wealth? Are you going to sell your soul to the devil, as some people would say? Or are you going to be part of that oneness and not lose your soul, but find it and help people? Our soul path is all about service and how we help people. And that helps us with our karmic debts or our karmic residue, when we help people, when we assist people, when we get that fulfillment. That is what it's all about. As time, and the time will come when you see you're all one and life flows within you and without you. So we have to look at our life and how we express that. So it comes down to self-discipline and how we achieve our spiritual awakening, our spiritual awareness, and that discipline. And sometimes we tread off the path, Every time we tread off the path, it's harder to get back on it. So we have to go within to get on that path and be spiritual to everybody we come in contact with. And it's easy in this world to get emotionally off track. I mean, we have things coming to us, somebody will say something, and in my case, it might be something that would not be considered conduct of a minister, that I may bark at somebody. All right? And with that, the whole thing is, I got a story about that, and it happened during COVID, and I went to a shot clinic, and the guy was coming there, so I got in line, and he's like, stay back, stay back. You have to have all this distance. And I said something to them that was, to him, that was not the conduct of a minister, and he says, you and your dogs are not coming in today. And so I took my distance, and I'm staying alone. And it's been a good half hour for this shot clinic. And I take the dogs around the corner to do their business. And he still comes at me, you're still not getting in today. And these are volunteers, they're Christian volunteers. And I'm just saying, and I said to him, I'm sorry, I'm only asking for forgiveness. And those were the magic words. Right? And he said, okay, you can come in. But we have to look at our actions, whether it's ours or other people, because forgiveness is a two-way street. And it's very important that we release, or at least express that forgiveness. Right? Sometimes we can't to the person. That's why we have thought patterns and telepathic energy going out. So you can always forgive the person telepathically. But in this case, that forgiveness was accepted. And the day went on perfect after that. But we have to look at the forgiveness. It is very important in our lives. That's part of our soul path. Okay, getting back to the mysteries of life, then John Lennon wrote a song, Nowhere Man. And the lyrics here is, doesn't have a point of view, does not know where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Nowhere man, please listen. You don't know what you're missing. Nowhere man, the world is at your command. So in this respect, the nowhere man, because that is who I am, a nowhere man, then listen to spirit. That's the without, listening to spirit. And then you will get those spiritual impressions of the world is at your command. Go within, without. It's all important. And George Harrison wrote another spiritual song called The Inner Light, which happened to be the B-side on Lady Madonna single. So, and these lyrics are, without going out of your door, you can know all things on earth. Without looking out your window, you could know the ways of heaven. The farther one travels, the less one knows. The less one really knows. And then the lyrics to this as it closes the song is, this is all the spiritual awakening and self-discipline. Arrive without traveling. See all without looking. Do all without doing. Right? And that's the spiritualism that we all have within us. That is because we're the oneness. We can do lots of work, spiritual work, inside and have results outside. So it all comes down to the inner light within us and how we are inspired by spirit. Self-awakening, self-awareness, and self-discipline. As Ram Dass would say, or would teach us, be here now, within and without. I leave you with this message.